Vance leaked that he was opposed to this operation at the beginning of the war, and I have observed ever since then that JD Vance has either been sidelined or given shit detail. And he put him in charge of the fraud commission about a month and a half ago, which was the funniest thing I've ever seen, because if I was the VP to the most corrupt president in American history, I would not want to be put in charge of government fraud and abuse.
To your point, though, the polling is still atrocious for Trump on this deal. I mean, the CBS polling was particularly brutal. They were like, not only do we not believe, we the American people, we don't believe that we won this war. We don't believe the Trump administration believes they won this war. Like, the American people believe that Trump knows he lost this war, and he did lose this war. Be honest. Has the phone been ringing more or less since the deal?
Less.
I knew
100%. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I haven't been on Fox News since the war started.
I knew it. The next time you're on News Nation, it's like a war. What war? Mike, what do you think about, we found a fifth trans athlete, the Iran war and the $300 billion. What do you say about that, Mike?
Well, imagine if the trans athlete was Iranian. Then there would be like they'd have an actual meltdown.
That's it. All right, folks. So after like a 3-4 week hiatus because life hit us hard, I am back with my friend and yours, Mike Nellis. He's a Democratic strategist, a debate extraordinaire. He's an up-and-coming YouTuber. He's been on here for 5 minutes, and he's already got 4 million subscribers, basically. No. He's getting close. And of course,
189,000.
All right, stop it, man. It's not that much of an exaggeration.
Smash the sub button if you want to know more. Find out why.
Well, let's get him to 4 million, and me too, ideally. But he's also the host of the Endless Urgency Substack, which, dude, I saw a screenshot floating around. You're like number 4 on Substack or something like that. You were
what they say.
He runs Substack, okay? Basically, like, Mike doesn't want to brag, but I'm going to brag on him. We are back in the house doing Pondering Politics with Endless Urgency, and folks, there's a lot to talk about. So obviously the big news, Mike, is the fact that we have the best negotiator in the federal government, which is not Donald Trump.
Right.
It's his understudy, JD Vance, in Switzerland, wrapping up the next phase of diplomatic talks with the Iranian delegation. And Mike, he secured a great accomplishment. Okay, are you bracing yourself? I hope you're sitting down. You're going to fall over.
I'm braced.
In 2026, the year of our Lord, JD Vance got the Iranians to agree to a thing that they agreed to 11 years ago under Barack Obama, which is the big concession. Iran told JD that they will let UN weapons inspectors go to Iran.
Thank God. My God. I don't know how he did it. Could it have been the $300 million or $1 billion bribe that they're going to give the Iranian government? Could it be the fact that they let them kill 13 American servicemen and women in this war that they started, which was a war of choice? I mean, for those that don't know and are missing the sarcasm, like, that's what Obama got, okay, with like way less money and nobody died. And I can't get over this. And like, now there's a million MAGA influencers out there trying to sell how great these two are at negotiating, although honestly, there's not as many of them as I thought, because everybody hates this deal.
One of your commenters, Joan McLeod, says Iran is now saying they never agreed to inspectors coming in. Joan, I appreciate that, because that's why I said very carefully, Vance said Iran agreed, because I figured something like that, there was a 50% chance that Iran would follow up and go, what the hell are you talking about? That's not something because you got to remember, I mean, Vance is desperate to spin this. So Mike, can you provide some like context here for my audience and yours? Like, because they're probably thinking some may not be aware, but what do you mean JD Vance is in Switzerland?
Yeah. Well, Donald Trump hates JD Vance. Let's just start there, because I want to be super clear about it. And being vice president of the United States is the worst job in politics. And I would recommend it to exactly none of my clients, because it's awful. You have to go do the shit duty that your president wants you to do, because you have to go in service of your president. So Trump is very mad at Vance, because in the beginning of this ordeal that he's created, it's not a war, it's an ordeal. We're calling it an ordeal.
It's excursion. We take you to the brief little detour.
Just a little detour, 2 weeks and 2 weeks and then more 2 weeks and then another 2 weeks. It's only a war when we ended it. He only called it a war when it was over, which I thought was just like classic Trump. Like,
they call it Schrodinger's war. It's a war when it is, and it's a war when it's not.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. So nobody beats Jack Cocarella's Trump, which is upsetting.
Yeah.
How good it is. But Vance leaked that he was opposed to this operation at the beginning of the war. And I have observed ever since then that JD Vance has either been sidelined or given shit detail. and he put him in charge of the fraud commission about a month and a half ago, which was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Because if I was the VP to the most corrupt president in American history, I would not want to be put in charge of government fraud and abuse. Just feels awfully bad and an absolute gift to the Democrats when JD Vance inevitably runs for president in 28 or sometime in the future. So there's that. And then now he's put him in charge of the Iran negotiations, which I think if you're Vance, you have to do. But you also look at it as an opportunity to be a peacemaker here. So, but he also, the same week that JD Vance is supposed to be launching his book and going on his book tour and like soft launching his presidential campaign, Trump is like, we're going to end the war this week. You're in charge, like go. So it's like he just fucked him in every possible way here, which I think is very funny. And Vance has done a really bad job. I mean, look, I want
Wait, well, spoiler.
spoiler.
Maybe our audiences weren't expecting that JD Vance.
Right. Do you guys think I'm a huge fan of JD Vance?
Yeah. Well, no. Maybe they would be. Maybe they thought, maybe they were reasonably optimistic, right? Because listen, does he not have the reputation of being smarter than Trump? I'm just saying.
I don't think he is smarter than Trump. All
right, that's a hot take.
I think higher of Trump's intelligence than the average Democrat does, and I think lower of JD Vance's. Than like JD Vance's nickname on my show is Shitweasel. Like I just think he's the biggest shitweasel I've ever seen in American politics. My least favorite person. He's screwed up this deal. I mean, and I'll even take a step back before I talk about like how he screwed up the deal. Is like this was a no-win scenario for JD Vance and for America from the moment that Donald Trump launched this war, because either one of two things were going to have happened from the minute that they attacked. It was either take a shitty deal and declare victory, which is the most Trump thing you could do, or
Trump.
You were going to have to go full like Operation Shock and Awe, put troops on the ground, seize Clark Island, seize the Strait of Hormuz, take it over, and then hope for the best. Which was also not a great plan either. And I prefer option A to option B. But Vance came in and the deal is so much worse than anything I thought it would be. They have complete sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. They're allowed to charge tolls. We're giving them $300 billion. They get to keep their uranium. There's no promise that they're not going to funnel that money to terrorist organizations. They got a vague written promise.
There's a gentleman's agreement.
There's a gentleman's agreement that we won't kill each other.
They pinky swore, okay?
Right. Well, listen, they tore up Obama's Iran deal, the JCPOA. They tore it up because Obama gave them $1.5 billion that was already Iranian money we'd frozen from the 80s during the hostage crisis. Gave them that back. They talk about 14 pallets of cash were sent on a plane.
They put in 747.
747. I've heard it all 1,000 times. And this is basically the same deal, but 1,000 times worse than it ever was. And Obama's deal was fine. It wasn't great, but it was fine. And it was a good step forward to try to move Iran into the international community so that they stop fucking killing people everywhere and trying to build a nuke and scaring the hell out of everybody. Mike, they just stuck with that, it wouldn't have been an issue. Sorry.
It worked well enough. And this is, we were talking before it started. Your boy Bill O'Reilly had a really bad moment on Chris Cuomo related to the Iran deal. It was awful. Yeah. I did a video about this. Cuomo's comment section is never particularly friendly to Cuomo himself. But it's savage.
Poor Chris.
I know, it savaged O'Reilly, and O'Reilly got savage during the conversation because, to your point about the Obama deal, you say what you want about it, but when President Obama inked the JCPOA, Iran went from having about 200 kilograms approximately of enriched uranium to zero in 2018 when the deal was in effect and Trump had been president for a year. So Obama got it from 220 down to zero. And then when Trump shredded the deal to today, now Iran is sitting on about 445 kilograms worth of enriched uranium. In other words, double the amount that Obama got rid of. And I'm sorry, if the whole war was predicated on, we got to totally get rid of their nuclear dust, their enriched uranium, we got to get rid of it all. Obama got you to zero. And you took zero and made 445 kilograms worth of enriched uranium. So Mr. Art of the Deal created the very situation that he said was the predicate for the war, that Iran had enriched uranium. So at least Obama's deal worked.
Can I add too, is not only that, but about a year ago, they bombed the shit out of Iran in that one-off operation they did with Israel and claimed that they decimated their nuclear arsenal. And then 6 months later, we're like, no, we got to go. We got to take them all out. And they spent the last I mean, this, I do a lot of, because you cover it on your show, I do a lot of right-wing TV, so I go on Newsmax and I go on News Nation and all that. They've been screaming at me. Mike, why don't you want to take down this oppressive regime? Why don't you want the people of Iran to be free? And we know that these people don't give a shit about the people of Iran. Okay, they don't even give a shit about the people of America, let alone the people of Iran. But they spent all that time screaming at me about it, only for their king to hand over $300 billion to the exact same regime, which is unchanged. And this media ecosystem that they're in, did you see the polling over the weekend? That 30% of Americans believe that we've changed the regime in Iran, and 30% of Americans believe we've destroyed their nuclear program, and 30% of Americans believe we've destroyed their missile systems. Like, they're literally firing missiles at Israel right now, and a third of this country is like, we took them out. We did it. Mission accomplished. I'm like, a third of this country is the mission accomplished banner from George W. Bush's time as a person. I don't know what else to do with them. I love them. They're my fellow countrymen and women, but like, wake up and read a book.
No, I mean, listen, unreachable. And to your point, though, the polling is still atrocious for Trump on this deal. I mean, the CBS polling was particularly brutal. They were like, not only do we not believe, we the American people, we don't believe that, we won this war. We don't believe the Trump administration believes they won this war. Like, the American people believe that Trump knows he lost this war, and he did lose this war. And to your point, I mean, this deal is so bad that, talking about right-wing media and you going on right-wing media, your regular sparring partner, Batya Ungar Sargon, she caught a lot of shit from MAGA. This is a self-described MAGA lefty, because she admitted she ate crow and she ate shit. I gave her credit for that. Like, she fell on the sword there. She was like, I was hyping up Trump, for the past however months. And now, like, she's like, I was so wrong about this.
Well, she said one thing out of line and the entire Trump White House turned on her. Like, there's no loyalty in that group. It's crazy.
No, I mean, it because it's a cult, Mike. I mean, you can't deviate from the leader. And it will be interesting, if and when you have future conversations with Batya to not only
I'm doing her podcast on Thursday, so I'm looking forward to
this. I
get to eat cake.
I think she has to eat crow, you have to eat cake. And I think this should be discussed because also I'm curious, I definitely track, as you know, I'm a huge fan of your appearances. We're not just friends. I'm a fan of your work too. And
vice versa. I model my channel off of yours plenty.
Well, I appreciate that. And what's interesting though, is I'm curious, be honest, has the phone been ringing more or less since the deal?
Less.
I knew
100%. It. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I haven't been on Fox News since the war started.
I knew it. I knew it because I was waiting. I'm like, okay, how's Vitter gonna talk about this?
Well, Leland's not the problem. Leland will have me on once or twice a week, regardless of the topic. Because to his credit, and like, look, Leland is more conservative than the average bear. And that's a good joke. I like that one. I'm gonna send him that clip later. But he will have a real conversation with me, and like, so it's not like a game to him. Like on Fox, it's like I have to come in and it's 2-on-1, and there has to be like 4 topics that are all bad for me, and it's got to be like Gavin Newsom said something about trans kids.
Dude, I was about to say you're gonna get hit with so many trans athletes over the next
I get them all the time.
Days.
I have so many.
But what I'm saying is, the next time you're on News Nation, it's like a war. What war? You know what the real war is? The war of trans people against cis people.
Right.
Mike, what do you think about? We found a 5th trans athlete in the United States. Fuck the Iran war and the $300 billion. What do you say about that, Mike?
Well, imagine if the trans athlete was Iranian, then there would be like then meltdown.
That's it. But I mean,
that's all that they want to talk about. I mean, Newsmax is the same thing. Like anytime, I mean, I'll be on Newsmax like 2 or 3 times a week, generally speaking. And every time I go on, it's never like the state of the economy. It's never the issues that like, and I look at a lot of polling data throughout the week, as a Democratic strategist does, and I look at focus groups and stuff. I know what people care about, and they care about the same thing in New York City as they do in Alabama. It's how to pay their goddamn bills. The Newsmax is never talking about that.
Let's wrap up with this. I'm curious, talking about the conclusion of this Switzerland trip with JD Vance. What do you think the political trajectory is going to be? Because Republicans, I don't know if this is cope or not, but what they're trying to sell us on, Mike, is, well, look, now that we have 60 days, we're no longer in a hot war. We see gas prices dropping. They're still elevated, but they're dropping with each passing day. So by November, it's going to be once again basically an even match between the Republicans and the Democrats. Are you concerned about that? Obviously, we want the war to end, but as far as the political implications, what are you expecting on November?
No, because one, they were already in trouble before the war in Iran started. And Republicans did what they always do, is that they're super good at changing the landscape of the conversation. So you had it tilted like this, right? Mm-hmm. But the problem was it was already like this, and then it went like this. So it's bad, really bad, and it's going to just go back to like still bad. So like barring a miracle of their ability to do one of the following things, and probably more than one of the following things, to be honest with you. Like, one, the job market is a mess right now, and people are really mad. everything is expensive right now and people blame Trump for it, and then actually ending this war in Iran. I mean, they have this 60 days here, but the estimates are that it's going to take a very long time for the shortages relative to this war and the gas prices to go down below $3 again. So people are going to be feeling this for years. I mean, CNN aired an estimate from an expert that was like, it won't go back down this way till like 2032 or something like that. So they've lied to the American people about the pace of progress here. And meanwhile, and I just think we have to keep reminding people of this, 13 American soldiers are dead for nothing. For nothing. And like, we should all be more angry about that. And like, Donald Trump doesn't get to create a crisis of this scale and magnitude that disrupts the global economy and then come back and go, look at, I solved this thing. Okay. I know his brand is create problem, solve problem, take victory, but like, it isn't going to work this time. Like, people are mad. I mean, there was an estimate today that the average person just in the last couple of months has lost $2,000 per income because of the war in Iran. So, like, people are angry, and I think they have every right to be angry. And I think the Democrats are doing more right than wrong in this election. They're not getting everything right, but they're doing more right than wrong. And it's an unearned victory because I don't think the Democratic Party has fixed the core issues that still plague the party. But there's only one way for the pendulum to swing. And keep in mind the other thing here too. Donald Trump is negative 40% on inflation. He's negative 40% on the war in Iran. He's negative 50% on Epstein, okay? He's underwater on immigration. There's not a single issue that they can run on. They have nothing that they've achieved and accomplished. And they're also running some really bad candidates too. Like, I do think we're going to maybe win Iowa or Texas or Alaska because they have some bad candidates and we have some good candidates.
Listen, again, I'm a cynic by nature, but I also
I'm an optimist by nature. So
listen, there you go. This is great. This is great. It's a yin yang thing. You know, it's a s'mores thing. I bring the chocolate, you bring the cream filling, and there we go. I do want to say this though: it's extremely important that we take the Senate, folks. If Mike's audience, my audience, walk away with one thing: the House is great. We really need the Senate too, and the reason is there will be Supreme Court vacancies in the next 2 years, and anything that we do in 2028 on out has to involve court reform. And the last thing we want is not just a 6-3 conservative supermajority, but a literal MAGA majority court where Trump walks away from his second term having appointed 5 of the 9 Supreme Court justices. So make sure. Go ahead.
Can I add something to that too? We have to get to 52 Senate seats. And I think people need to understand this because we have to have a Fetterman-proof Senate majority. Trademark Mike Nellis. I'm the one who came up with that. Fetterman-proof Senate majority has to happen because Donald Trump has offered him an extraordinary large bribe. It's been reported in Politico. We absolutely cannot allow him to switch parties and fuck us or do what I think the plan is, which is stay in the Democratic Party so that he can keep pissing inside the tent instead of outside the tent on us. But he will fuck us on Supreme Court nominees to get whatever they promised him when he leaves office because I don't think he's running again. He doesn't seem like he likes being a senator, so I don't think he's going to stay.
He won't survive a primary.
No. And he's like a rich kid. He just wants to go on Sean Hannity and like shit on us. They'll give him the 9 p.m. slot or something. But like, we have to make sure we do that because we have, and I know this fact, but I was reminded of it earlier today. We have 3 Supreme Court justices that were worked on the Bush v. Gore case. 3 who are political operatives. They are not jurists. They are not lawyers. They are not anything other than Republican political operatives. We have to fix the Supreme Court. And they're being extraordinarily arrogant right now, okay? They should have 2 retirements this year. Donald Trump should have already fucked us and replaced 2 people on the Supreme Court in this term. Hasn't done it. Let's make sure they get penalized for that in November in the same way. May she rest in peace. We got penalized for Ruth Bader Ginsburg sticking around too long and not leaving when Obama was president. Let's get, I want my pound of flesh.
You know what I call that? And we're going to end it with that. I call that a mic drop because that came from the Mike Nellis of Endless Urgency. Folks, if you are on my channel, please make sure that not only you go to Substack and subscribe to Endless Urgency if you haven't already, but also go to Mike Nellis's YouTube channel and subscribe to him. He's again, he's on my heels. He's on my heels. And so, we want to help him as much
I'm 800,000 away from you. Aren't you on the verge of 1 million? You're close, right?
No, man, I'm still in the 800s, but again.
No, really? I thought you were like at 9. Okay.
Oh, no. Listen,
well, then I'm coming for your ass then. Let's go.
All right.
Subscribe to me so I can beat Jessiah and embarrass
the shit. Oh my God, no! Yeah, no, folks, please make sure you subscribe on Substack and on YouTube. And
if you're watching on my side, make sure you subscribe to Jessiah on Substack as well. He's fantastic. We're gonna get him set up on here. So we're collabing. Let's go. He's a good dude.
Perfect. All right, Mike, we will see you and everybody's audience. We will see you guys next Monday. Appreciate you. We have been pondering politics with endless urgency.
Thanks, buddy.